Our selection today is Fix Me, Yah.
Yahshua, fix me.
Oh, Yah, fix me. Oh, Yah, fix me. Oh, Yah, fix me. Fix me, Yahshua, fix me. Oh, Yah, fix me. Oh, Yah, fix me. Oh, Yah, fix me. Fix me, Yahshua, fix me.
Fix me for my long white road.
Fix me, Yahshua, fix me.
Fix me for my starry crown.
Fix me, Yahshua, fix me. Oh, Yah, fix me. Oh, Yah, fix me. Oh, Yah, fix me. Fix me, Yahshua, fix me. Oh, Yah, fix me. Oh, Yah, fix me. Oh, Yah, fix me. Fix me, Yahshua, fix me.
Fix me for my journey home.
Fix me, Yahshua, fix me.
Fix me for the streets of Zion.
Fix me, Yahshua, fix me. Oh, fix me. Oh, fix me. Oh,
The oracles of the UCI, 1 Peter chapter 4, verses 7 through 11. But the end of all things is at hand. Be you therefore sober, and watch unto prayer. And above all things have fervent love among yourselves, for love shall cover the multitude of sins. Use hospitality one to another without grudging. As every man has received the gift, even so minister the same one to another, as good stewards of the manifold grace of Elohim. If any man speak, let him speak as the oracles of Elohim. If any man minister, let him do it as of the ability which Elohim gives, that Elohim in all things may be glorified through Yahshua the Mashiach, to whom be praise and dominion forever and ever. Amen. Ephesians chapter 4, verses 29 through chapter 5 and verse 4. Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers. And grieve not the Holy Spirit of Elohim, whereby you are sealed until the day of redemption. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice. And be you kind one to another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, even as Elohim for Yahshua's sake has forgiven you. Be you therefore followers of Elohim, as their children, and walk in love, as the Mashiach also have loved us, and has given himself for us an offering and sacrifice to Elohim for a sweet-smelling savor. But fornication and all uncleanness or covetousness, let it not be once named among you as becomes saints. Neither filthiness, nor foolish talking, nor jesting, which are not convenient, but rather given of thanks. Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verses 1 and 2. Keep your foot when you go to the house of Elohim, and be more ready to hear, than to give the sacrifice of fools, for they consider not that they do evil. Be not rash with your mouth, and let not your heart be hasty to utter anything before Elohim. For Elohim is in heaven, and you upon earth, therefore let your words be few. Exodus chapter 23, verses 20 and 21. Behold, I send an angel before you, to keep you in the way, and to bring you into the place which I have prepared. Beware of him, and obey his voice. Provoke him not, for he will not pardon your transgressions, for my name is in him. Revelations chapter 3, verses 20 through 22. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come into him and will sup with him, and he with me. To him that overcomes will I grant to sit with me in my throne, even as I have also overcame, and am sat down with my Father in his throne. He that has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says unto the churches.
All right, Shabbat Shalom,
Shabbat Shalom.
which is peace on Yahweh's holy Sabbath day. Welcome to another holy convocation that Yahweh has enjoined unto us here in Stone Mountain, Georgia. My elder used to say this phrase: there is serving Yah, and then there is serving ourselves of Yah. And in the beginning, when that statement was made, I didn't fully understand, but it took situation and circumstances where he would explain a few things, and then I learned to see the difference between serving Yahweh our Elohim and then serving ourselves of Yah. You know, it is written concerning Israel that he says, I have been made to serve you in your sins. We don't consider the name that we carry as holy, the holy name of Israel. And when we do certain things, there's a certain amount of protection, there's a certain amount of attention that we're going to get from Yahweh our Elohim, even if that thing that we're doing is not on the up and up. We end up putting Yahweh in a situation, and that's not something that we consider. Even something as simple as when we have family and friends that will ask, pray for me because I'm going through this or that. And you have to consider the position that you put your Elohim in. What happens if he does come through for that individual, but then they turn around and say, thank you, Jesus? What position have you just put your Elohim in? Because they're not going to glorify him if they actually get healing, if they get deliverance, if they get any of those things. they are not going to thank him. So what kind of situation have you not only put your Elohim in, but what kind of situation have you put that individual in once they receive those things, but then refuse to give him glory? Think about the parable where it says 10 were healed, and only one turned back to come back and give thanks. He said, well, where are the other 9? Well, wasn't the 10 people healed? What other 9? You have to consider that. So this is where we start to draw the line between our feelings and how we feel about something, and weigh that against what's written. And when you get up to a point where you feel a certain way, but the book says something else, you're going to have to adjust your feelings. Please don't think the book is going to change in its writing. Don't think that you're going to look at the book and the words going to change to fit the feelings that you have inside. No, the feelings that you have inside need to change to coincide with what's written in the book. The book not going to be changed, because we're going to be judged by what's written in the book. We're going to be judged by the things that Yahweh has placed there. So we all are going to get to situations where we have feelings about things, and all of our feelings are basically based on our upbringing, the things that we have encountered. And those things have allowed some feelings to stay there and take root. And certain things that have taken root, they are much harder to remove, because the whole basis for their stability is something that we cannot see. When you talk about a root is underground. So you might look at something and say, oh, that plant is only this big. How deep is that root? How deep is the root that produced that little bit? Because you're just seeing the outward part of that. That means it is spread out in the ground. It has gone everywhere that it needs to go to get its nutrients, and now it's springing forth. So you think that's it. And if you just go and cut off the edge of a weed, all you got to do is come back a couple days, a week. What happened? It's right back down. Why? Because you didn't destroy the root. So if the root is still in there, it's going to produce the same thing. No matter how many times you keep cutting it, it's going to show right back up until you take care of that root cause. Now, what does it profit, my brethren, though a man say he has faith and have not works? Can faith save him? If a brother or sister be naked and destitute of daily food, and one of you say unto them, depart in peace, be you warmed and filled, notwithstanding you give them not those things which are needful to the body, what does it profit? Even so faith, if it has not works, is dead, being alone. Yea, a man may say, you have faith and I have works. Show me your faith without your works, and I will show you my faith by my works. You believe that there is one Elohim. You does well. The devils also believe and tremble. But will you know, O vain man, that faith without works is dead? Was not Abraham our father justified by works when he had offered Esaac his son upon the altar? See if you how faith wrought with his works, and by works was faith made perfect. And the scripture was fulfilled, which says, Abraham believed Elohim, and it was imputed unto him for righteousness. And he was called the friend of Elohim. You see then how that by works a man is justified, and not by faith only. Likewise, also was not Rahab the harlot justified by works, when she had received the messengers and had sent them out another way? For as the body without the spirit is dead, so faith without works is dead also. Let's begin today's sermon in Luke chapter 9. And we're going to read verses 46 through 62. Luke chapter 9 and verses 46 through 62. And today's sermon is entitled, Serving Ourselves of Yah. See, we have several parables that automatically come to mind when it says there's a point when Yahshua is going to say, get away from me, you workers of iniquity. I never knew you. But they're going to profess all of the great things that they have done in his name. Did we not heal the sick? Did we not do all of these things? Now, what was wrong with their works? Because he didn't say, I don't know you anymore, that we have fallen off. He said, I never knew you. That's a big difference between, we have gone some different ways, some things have changed. I never knew you. That's a pretty strong statement made by Yahshua. So the entire time, their works were not being accounted. Why? That's a pretty involved statement that we have to deal with there. When you look at the parable of the 10 virgins, you have 5 virgins that were wise, 5 virgins that were foolish. He gets all the way down to the wire, allows it to come to midnight so he can prove who has oil and who does not. So the wise virgins and the foolish virgins look just alike until a certain darkness is presented. The darkness that we run from is the darkness that we need to prove who is actually in our midst. You keep running from the very things that Yahweh is allowing to happen for a reason. You see a little bit of darkness, you take off and go in another direction. And he keeps trying to show you, look, it's only in the dark that you're going to realize who don't have a light. Why are you running from every time he allows darkness to come? You're going to keep thinking that all these people around you got light because you're standing in the light. Everybody look like they got a light in the daytime. So every time it get dark, you take off running. Sit still. The darker it get, you're going to see all those that have lights. Hey, what's going on right there? What's going on right there? Hey, y'all see, hey, what's happening right there? But see, you ain't waited long enough to figure out ain't no light there. Wait. Certain things may look like they're a judgment, and they're one of the biggest blessings that you could ever receive, but you don't know it yet. Let patience have its perfect work. Wait. Let's begin Luke chapter 9 and verse 46.
Then there arose a reasoning among them, which of them should be greatest. And Yahshua, perceiving the thought of their heart, took a child and set him by him, and said unto them, Whoso shall receive this child in my name receives me, and whoso shall receive me receives him that sent me. For he that is least among you all, the same shall be great.
Whosoever shall receive this child in my name receives me. So when Yahshua sends somebody out to do a work, what we don't understand is the indignation that we end up showing toward those individuals, we are actually showing that indignation toward Yahweh and Yahshua. But see, that's not how we look at things. So when we start receiving the fruits of our labor, then we're confused. Why are you confused? What is confusing? You didn't think that Yahshua was going to keep coming back to life and coming here and getting crucified all over again in every generation, did you? Go ahead.
And Johanan answered and said, Master, we saw one casting out devils in your name, and we forbade him, because he follows not with us. Yahshua said unto him, Forbid him not, for he that is not against us is for us.
Forbid him not, for he that is not against us is for us. One thing about it, he not with us, but he not slowing down our progress. See, there's some that's standing right next to you, and they're the ones that's not with you, because every time you turn around, they're somehow slowing down your progress. They got a problem with this. They got a problem with that. Oh, they can't do this. They can't do that. They're the ones slowing down your progress. The people standing over there on the street ain't slowing down your progress. They ain't slowed you down a bit. It was that one sitting next to you. They kept slowing down your progress. Go ahead.
And it came to pass, when the time was come that he should be received up, he steadfastly set his face to go to Jerusalem, and sent messengers before his face. And they went and entered into a village of the Samaritans to make ready for him. And they did not receive him, because his face was as though he would go to Jerusalem.
Uh-huh.
And when his disciples Jacob and Johanan saw this, they said, Adonai, will you that we command fire to come down from heaven and consume them, even as Elias did?
Now, consider if he had not, rebuked them about this thought. They already, all he did was his face is looking this way, as if he's going to go this way. They realized that as he puts his direction in another area, that they didn't receive him. Now they're ready to heap, fire and brimstone on them for not accepting Yahshua at that moment. You have to consider, how many opportunities do you have to accept Yahshua and you didn't take it right away? Now, what if somebody burnt you up the first time they brought the word, hey, the Messiah's name ain't Jesus? Man, I don't want to hear that. Now, how many opportunities would you have had to change your walk if you were set on fire every time you didn't accept? Because certain things got to weigh on you a little bit, because you've been hearing that Jesus name. You've been hearing that all your life. You've been hearing that name. You was a toddler. You still had on diapers, and you couldn't say your own folk name, but you was hearing Jesus. So you've been hearing that for a long time. So to think that somebody's just supposed to hear you say Yahshua one time, and now they're supposed to accept it, and if they don't accept it right away, they should be set on fire. There's a problem there. Go ahead.
Verse 55. But he turned and rebuked them and said, you know not what manner of spirit you are of.
Now, how many of us would take off and leave? I can't believe you gonna say something against me. I'm on your team. And you gonna say something against me? You gonna say that? I'm out. Some of us, this would have been the end of our walk with Yahshua. We would have took a half a step with Yahshua. They're like, did you walk with Yahshua? Yeah, about a half a step. Because as soon as they got corrected, they out. They out. But they end up having some serious power. The more power you have, the more disciplined you have to be with that power. See, when you got a slingshot, it's one thing. Now you put somebody and you put a automatic rifle in their hand. Now I don't have to explain to y'all about automatic rifles. Now they could pull the trigger one time and don't know what the hell they doing. And there's 8 people that just got shot. Cause they went before they, oh my God, what was that? What that is 8 people laying down. That's what that is. Now, if they just had a slingshot and they handled that wrong, maybe we got one person that went, ow. But with that automatic weapon, we got 8 people who not saying nothing. They all laying down. Okay? So the more powerful the situation, the more control you need in that situation. Go ahead.
For the Son of Man is not come to destroy men's lives, but to save them. And they went to another village. And it came to pass that, as they went in the way, a certain man said unto him, Adonai, I will follow you wherever you goeth.
Now, consider the humbleness of Yahshua. He said, you don't understand my purpose here. I'm not sent here to destroy. We just go to another place. That's it. How often do people take out their fire and brimstone where they are? If what you're trying to do does not work out in that place, go somewhere else. Before people, decide they want to go to another congregation, you should see the rocks that be in their jaws when they just over everything that's spoken. Why are you here? Leave. The door is in the same place it is when you came through it. Backtrack your steps and go right back out the same door. That's all you gotta do. It ain't hard. If you need me to draw you a map, I'll do it. Go ahead.
And Yahshua said unto him, Foxes have holes, and birds of the air have nests, but the Son of Man has not where to lay his head. And he said unto another, Follow me. But he said, Adonai, suffer me first to go and bury my father.
I will follow you whithersoever. I'll do this. A lot of times we don't know ourselves. So what Yahweh does is allow situations to take place so that we will know what manner of individual we are. Because when somebody try to tell us that we're that type of individual, we fight them. First time somebody told me that I was complex, it hurt my feelings. Because I was like, man, I'm a simple man. They said, who the hell told you that? That's how I saw me. Come to figure out, I wasn't seeing the right thing. So Yahweh have to show you some things about you, and do you accept it? Because it ain't going to be Yahweh. Yahweh has servants. Everything on the earth belongs to Yahweh. He used whatever he want to use. Whether that be heathen, a donkey. What if the ass come to you and start talking? What happened? Oh, you ain't going to accept that? So Yahweh got to come himself. Yahshua has to come himself and speak to you. I guarantee you, lake of fire bound. Because he ain't coming to do that for you. Go ahead.
You know, brother, we finally get into the truth, and then all of a sudden we're above and beyond reproof and correction. When you look at these disciples, there was constant reproof and correction. The ones who left early got off light.
Yep. They got one rebuke and they was out. But you have to consider something. What was the rest of their spiritual development like? What was the rest of their walk like? It says every scribe who is instructed into the kingdom. Our problem is we just think we're going to fall and slide into the kingdom. See, we ain't got to have no instruction. We just going to fall, and when we slip, and we just going to navigate our way right into the kingdom. Where we get that at? Go ahead.
Verse 60, Yahshua said unto him, Let the dead bury their dead, but go you and preach the kingdom of Elohim.
Now. And he said unto another, Follow me. But he said, Adonai, suffer me first to go and bury my father. Now this some close stuff right here, to bury my father. This ain't, to let me go bury my mother's son. No. This is my father. This is we got a connection here. Not somebody that, I know of. I know him kind of, we met at the mall. No. Let me first go and bury my father. Yahshua says unto him, Let the dead bury their dead. Every time Yahshua speaks, I can see less and less servants standing by him. And there are people that get offended by some things that we say. Wait till Yahshua get here. You think you offended. Wait. If I offend you, you in trouble. He says, let the dead. This person talking about their dead daddy. He says, let the dead bury their dead. See, what we don't understand is there's a different level between worshipers and servants. See, praisers and worshipers are on this level. Servants are over here. Everybody that calls themselves a servant is not a servant. A servant inconveniences himself. A worshiper will not be inconvenienced. I mean, they'll sing a song. If they ain't got to lead the song. You know what I'm saying? I'll sing backup. That way ain't no responsibility. You know what I'm saying? Anytime I get to a note I don't, I ain't able to hit, I just, y'all know how we do. Go ahead, bro.
Even in this situation, it's, even people by earshot, like you said, getting less and less. Somebody else in earshot, man, that was hard, man. He won't even let him go bury his daddy. Man, what kind of dude, heartless dude is this?
Mm-hmm.
You know, but what he tell him? He put him straight to work. Man, go to work.
Mm-hmm.
Let them bury that, man. Go to work.
Mm-hmm.
Go do something.
So we see how Yahweh looks at servants. When you begin to do something on that level, he's going to hold you accountable on that level. See? So we have to see the difference in dealing with things when we're talking about serving Yah and then serving ourselves of Yah. Because a whole lot of people do things for themselves, and you can't tell them they ain't serving Yahweh. Oh, boy, they'll tell you, oh, boy, I did this for Yahweh. You did? That's funny, because all of that looked like it was serving you. Go ahead, brother.
I want to say is, you know, the part where he's telling the brother to preach the kingdom of Elohim.
Uh-huh.
Also, the part where he's saying, let the dead bury the dead. Well, he's telling him, secure your spot.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, what we got to find out is salvation is not a team sport. You know, you find, see, when you go into those Hebrew Christian organizations, those things they call them moderate brews. You know, moderate brews are basically Hebrew Christians. You know, they won't deal with anything too heavy or anything like that, and they love to, you know, chant the tribes and everybody, Judah this and Judah. Here's the problem: there's not going to be like a Judah judgment. Everybody got to go to their own judgment. You know, so ain't no showing up with a jersey on and everybody, Yeshua, Judah, Yeshua, Judah, number 14, me. No. Ain't no Judah jerseys with no number, and he not gonna be sitting out there. Man, look at your stats. You got, I see, you got 14 rebounds, you got 8 saves. You know what I'm saying? That's not gonna happen. Okay. He ain't looking at how many rings you got. Because, hey, we know some of the best players ain't never got a ring. This is not a team sport. Salvation is an individual thing. So how you going to deal with that? Go ahead.
Luke chapter 9 and verse 61. And another also said, Adonai, I will follow you, but let me first go bid them farewell, which are at home at my house.
So you begin to see how Yahweh looks at, first of all, Yeshua's going to look at things exactly how his father looked at things. What did Yahweh say? The first fruit belongs to him. Once you take the first and do something else with it, everything else is damaged. They said, first, let me go do this. Read.
And Yahshua said unto him, no man, having put his hand to the plow and looking back, is fit for the kingdom of Elohim.
Right. Each time he's letting them know, if you gonna deal with this, this comes first. Then your personal stuff comes after that. When you see those who are serving themselves of Yah, watch how their works that they're supposed to do, watch how they fall off as their personal works get magnified. That's how you learn the difference between who's serving Yah and who is serving themselves of Yah. They're just using his name while they're doing their own duty. Let's go to Matthew chapter 25. Keep my God name out your mouth.
Matthew chapter 25 and verse 20. And so he that had received 5 talents came and brought other 5 talents, saying, Adonai, you delivered unto me 5 talents. Behold, I have gained beside them 5 talents more. His master said unto him, well done, you good and faithful servant. You have been faithful over a few things. I'll make you ruler over many things.
Right. So he gives you these things. You are in a trial basis to earn a deeper spot. You have done well with those things. Now I'm going to make you a ruler over greater things. But I want to see how you handle the things that you were given. See, we think all tests for somebody else. We don't think the test will be for us. There's sometimes you almost at the end of a test and realize, oh, I was being tested too. I thought that was for Kish. Go ahead.
Enter you into the joy of your master. He also that had received 2 talents came and said, Adonai, you delivered unto me 2 talents. Behold, I have gained 2 other talents beside them. His master said unto him, Well done, good and faithful servant.
Well done, good and faithful servant. There are no greater words that we can hear. Those are the things that we want to hear. You know, it's those kind of things that cause a lot of the football players and basketball players. This kind of stuff causes them a lot of problems. And there's certain things that you don't even consider. When you watching a football game or basketball, every time they do something good, you see how they go over there and congratulate each other? You know, they don't do that at a regular job. You know, when you like make the copies right, don't nobody just run up. Hey, boy, you made them copies, bruh. Bruh. Boy, all them copies. But you see how you put them paper clips on there? You see that? Don't nobody do that. Okay? Don't nobody do that. What we want to receive is a job well done. You get that from Yahshua. That's worth 50 chest bumps right there. Go ahead.
You have been faithful over a few things. I'll make you ruler over many things. Enter you into the joy of your master. Then he which had received 1 talent came and said, Adonai, I know that you're an hard man, reaping where you have not sown, and gathering where you have not strawed. And I was afraid, and went and hid your talent in the earth. Lo, there you have, that is yours.
I hid it in the earth. I did absolutely nothing with that. You have to ask yourself, how many things have Yahweh given unto you personally that you put in the pot to be able to use to glorify his name? Because we say, no, those are personal gifts. Those are mine. It's for my personal use. Those are for me only. Okay. Go ahead.
His master answered and said unto him, You wicked and slothful servant.
You wicked and slothful servant. So while the other servants were magnifying their talents, what was he doing? Because he should have had a whole bunch of extra time. Because, I mean, he dug a hole and put it in the hole. I mean, he should have had he should have really enjoyed himself. Or maybe he spent all his time working on some personal stuff, not anything that had anything to do with Yahweh. But it should have been a whole lot of time somewhere. What did he do with that time? Go ahead.
You know that I reap where I sowed not, and gather where I have not strawed. You ought therefore to have put my money to the exchangers, and then at my coming I should have received mine own with interest. Take therefore the talent from him, and give it unto him which has 10 talents. For unto every one that has shall be given, and he shall have abundance. But from him that has not shall be taken away even that which he has.
And they said, oh, that is unfair. See, this is where people will go and read things in the Old Testament and say that, I don't deal with that old God, because that old Yahweh, he's a hard God. They really hadn't read this stuff in red. They hadn't read this stuff in red at all, because they found out, oh, Yahshua just like him. He just like him. It may sound a little bit smoother and a little bit more poetic, but the judgment is still the same. Go ahead.
And cast you the unprofitable servant into outer darkness. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth.
Right. And if we listen to folks on Sunday morning, Yahshua didn't say that. Because he loved. He ain't nobody casting nobody into outer darkness and gnashing of teeth. Where they get that from? Him. See? This is the one they claim say nothing but love. He just love talk. That's all he say Yahshua. Yes. Yahshua. You understand? That's what they say. That's because they're not reading this book. Go ahead.
When the Son of Man shall come in his glory, and all the holy angels with him, then shall he sit upon the throne of his glory. And before him shall be gathered all nations, and he shall separate them one from another, as a shepherd divides his sheep from the goats. And he shall set the sheep on his right hand, but the goats on the left. Then shall the king say unto them on his right hand, Come, you blessed of my father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. For I was an hungered, and you gave me meat. I was thirsty, and you gave me drink. I was a stranger, and you took me in. Naked, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you visited me. I was in prison, and you came unto me.
This is how Yahweh approved the hearts of men. Go ahead.
Then shall the righteous answer him, saying, Adonai, when saw we you an hungered and fed you, or thirsty and gave you drink? When saw we you a stranger and took you in, or naked and clothed you?
Right. Now, let me ask you something. This is the righteous. And he has told the righteous, you have fed me, you have clothed me, you have taken me in. Now, if he had said that to the wicked, you think they would have asked, well, when did we do these things? It was like, okay, well, if you said that, then that's what happened. Then let me get in. They don't even understand where they did this at. This is how Yahweh judged the hearts of men. See, if they knew that it was him they were doing it to, they would have been more careful. See, that's what happened when we mistreat one another. We don't see that Yahweh is accounting that as being done unto him. See, we don't consider that. So, because we don't see the face of Yahshua, we don't see the power of Yahweh, we doing what we think, feel, and believe at that a particular moment. But it's being accounted unto us. Go ahead.
Or when saw we you sick or in prison and came unto you? And the king shall answer and say unto them, Verily I say unto you, inasmuch as you have done it unto one of the least of these, my brethren.
One of the least of these, my brethren. Go ahead.
You have done it unto me.
Consider that. What you have done unto one of the least of these. And understand, Yahshua and Yahweh won't be mocked. We can present our things as if it was nice and humble, because we've learned by watching corporate America, we learn how to be nasty. We'll be nice and nasty at the same time. We learn in corporate America. Yahweh not fooled by none of that. He knew exactly what's being done and why it's being done. Go ahead.
Then shall he say also unto them on the left hand, Depart from me, you cursed, into everlasting fire, prepared for the devil and his angels. For I was an hungered, and you gave me no meat. I was thirsty, and you gave me no drink. I was a stranger, and you took me not in. Naked, and you clothed me not. Sick, and in prison, and you visited me not. Then shall they also answer him, saying, Adonai, when saw we you an hungered, or athirst, or a stranger, or naked, or sick, or in prison, and did not minister unto you? Then shall he answer them, saying, Verily I say unto you, inasmuch as you did it not to one of the least of these, you did it not to me.
Right, because see, you got people that send a whole bunch of money. They got Christian fellowship for the Jews. So then the Christians load up all kind of money and send it over to Israel. So then those people are going to be confused when he said, you didn't do none of this stuff for me. Yes, we did. We gathered up a whole bunch of money and we flew it over to Israel. And y'all were like, oh, no, that's not Israel. Huh? So no, that was Israel, the ones you had put in the chains and stuffed in them little tin houses. That's Israel. Oh, my lamb. Right. Right. Go ahead.
And these shall go into everlasting punishment, but the righteous into life eternal.
Because they thought they knew who Israel was. They did good for the wrong reason, and it showed. See? See, they thought they knew who Israel was, so they sent that money over to the wrong place. And it showed that it wasn't in their heart to do good. It was in their heart to do something that they thought they were going to receive something from. Oh, man, folk think they slick. But as they say, ain't nothing slick to a can of oil. You can try your best to slick Yahweh if you want. And he will let you stay up all night planning your slickery. And you find out that he always slicker. Mark chapter 4. Mark chapter 4, and we're going to read verses 1 through 20.
Verse 1. And he began again to teach by the seaside. And there was gathered unto him a great multitude, so that he entered into a ship and sat in the sea. And the whole multitude was by the sea on the land. And he taught them many things by parables, and said unto them in his doctrine, Hearken, behold, there went out a sower to sow. And it came to pass, as he sowed, some fell by the wayside, and the fowls of the air came and devoured it up. And some fell on stony ground, where it had not much earth. And immediately it sprang up, because it had no depth of the earth. But when the sun was up, it was scorched, and because it had no root, it withered away. And some fell among thorns, and the thorns grew up and choked it, and it yielded no fruit. And other fell on good ground, and did yield fruit that sprang up and increased, and brought forth some 30, and some 60, and some 100. And he said unto them, He that has ears to hear, let him hear. And when he was alone, they that were about him with the 12 asked of him the parable. And he said unto them, Unto you it is given to know the mystery of the kingdom of Elohim, but unto them that are without, all these things are done in parables.
He says, unto you it is given to know the mystery of the kingdom of Elohim. But he still had to rebuke and shape them, even though it was still given unto them to know the mysteries. You find out that even it being given unto them to know the mysteries, that's still on levels. Just because it's given unto you to know the mysteries of Elohim, don't mean you on Yahshua's level. Go ahead.
That seeing they may see and not perceive, and hearing they may hear and not understand, lest at any time they should be converted, and their sins should be forgiven them. And he said unto them, Know you not this parable? And how then will you know all parables? The sower sows the word, and these are they by the wayside where the word is sown. But when they have heard, Satan comes immediately and takes away the word that was sown in their hearts. And these are they likewise which are sown on stony ground, who, when they have heard the word, immediately receive it with gladness, and have no root in themselves.
Right. What they lack is root in themselves. See, there's some that people have stolen the word out of their hearts. Others don't have root within themselves, so the seed just stay on the earth. It don't sink down. It ain't got nowhere else to go. Go ahead.
And so endure but for a time. Afterward, when affliction or persecution arise for the word's sake.
Affliction or persecution. And sometimes those things are the very things that's needed to help us grow. It's the affliction and persecution. So here it is. He brings affliction and persecution to help our growth. We then start feeling some type of way. And now we have been yanked out of the word. Go ahead.
You know, even when you go back to verse 10, he says, And when he was alone, they that were about him with the 12 asked of him the parable. They heard the same things that everybody heard, stood by having no understanding, but they didn't put their own feelings, thoughts, and beliefs into it. They stayed quiet till they got alone and then said, okay, explain this to us.
That's also called discretion. Some people know how not to open mouth and insert foot. There's some folk that every time you see them, it's toe jam falling off there because they didn't put their whole foot in there. Is that a heel hanging out your mouth? How did you get that whole foot in there? Right. Knowing when to do something. Discretion. Go ahead.
Immediately they are offended. Verse 18. And these are they which are sown among the thorns, such as hear the word. And the cares of this world, and the deceitfulness of riches, and the lust of other things enter in, choke the word, and it becomes unfruitful.
And the cares of this world, and the deceitfulness of riches, and the lust of other things enters in, and that chokes the word. Whenever you're looking at a situation, pause and look at somebody's personal achievements, and then you can figure out why their achievements in the word are faltering. You look and say, oh, okay. So what you did was push Yahweh's stuff back to the back and push your stuff up to the forefront. That wasn't something that somebody else did to do that to them. That is something that they did unto themselves. Go ahead.
And these are they which are sown on good ground, such as hear the word and receive it, and bring forth fruit, some 30-fold, some 60, and some 100.
All right. Let's go to Matthew chapter 23. So you find that when people give us all of these little cute sayings about Yahshua, you find out one thing. They ain't read his words. Because that stuff they talking about, oh, he is love. Oh, he just loves. And oh, he's never angry. He's not mad at you. Well, what the hell you think fire and brimstone is? If they could put that in a bouquet, I sure don't nobody ring my doorbell. Hey man, I got some fire and brimstone for you. Nah, you're wrong house. Wrong house. Go next door with that fire and brimstone. If that's love, I sure don't want that love delivery. I don't know what they reading. Matthew chapter 23, and let's start that at verse 1.
Then spake Yahshua to the multitude and to his disciples, saying, the scribes and the Pharisees sit in Moshe's seat.
Right, but you know what? When we say and do these things, people find fault. Why are you saying, I have people say, well, I don't understand why would, he mention stuff about other people and what they not doing. Tell Yahshua. Here is our example. He didn't just talk about other people. He talked about other people while they were standing there. He wanted you here. Come a little closer. I want to make sure you here. I'm about to talk. But won't you sit right there? So you can take care of that business. Why? They actually, see, because we're dealing in feelings. Him dealing with that situation, they now have an opportunity. They can either get stuck in their feelings or they can repent and be saved. But if he don't say it, now he has to worry about how much of that responsibility now lies on him. Go ahead.
Did not choose you 12 and want to use a devil.
Uh-huh. Right. And he didn't immediately get rid of the devil, did he? But they had to go and replace that devil though. Once it was finally brought out, they had to go and find a replacement for the devil, right? Okay. What make us think we any different? We think everything we do is going to be without a problem, without situation. He has situations. He has had things that he has to work around. What make us so grand? Go ahead.
All therefore whatsoever they bid you observe, that observe and do, but do not you after their works, for they say and do not.
Uh-huh.
For they bind heavy burdens and grievous to be borne, and lay them on men's shoulders, but they themselves will not move them with one of their fingers. But all their works they do for to be seen of men.
Uh-huh. We'll do anything for a like.
I got 10,000 friends.
No, the hell you don't.
That's what Facebook said. It said I got 10,000 friends.
You ain't got one. We will get in front of a camera and act a plumb monkey fool just so somebody can say, look at this monkey. Look at this monkey. They need to come up with some things that you can just throw a banana up there. There you go. Give me that banana to that monkey right there. Read, man.
They make broad their phylacteries and enlarge the borders of their garments.
Enlarge the borders of their garment. What's on the borders of the garment? Fringes. Go ahead.
And love the uppermost rooms at feast, and the chief seats in the synagogues, and greetings in the markets, and to be called of men, Rabbi, Rabbi. But be not you called Rabbi, for one is your master, even the anointed one, and all you are brethren. And call no man your father upon the earth, for one is your Father, which is in heaven. Neither be you called masters, for one is your master, even the anointed one. But he that is greatest among you shall be your servant. And whosoever shall exalt himself shall be abased, and he that shall humble himself shall be exalted.
Mm-hmm.
But woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you shut up the kingdom of heaven against men. For you neither go in yourselves, neither suffer you them that are entering to go in.
Now, he's saying this about the highest up of the people. See? So when we have a righteous example that has been placed on the earth, how are we not to deal with those situations? But what people do is say, anything you say, oh, now you judging me. Because see, we don't know what judgment is. Judgment requires punishment. See, you don't go to court and they give you a judgment and they just say bad things. If that were course, nobody would be afraid to go to court. They say, oh, you just wrong. I can't believe you did that. You just wrong. Okay, now go home. That's not what happened in court. That's not what happened in court. When you go to court and you get judged and they say, ooh, you wrong now, they don't tell you go home and then go over there in that cell. What? Yeah, you got 62 months. See, that's judgment. Don't tell somebody that they judging you because they done said something. What cell they put you in? What rock did they throw at you? Stop calling every time somebody deal with a situation as judgment. You want judgment? There's some nice rocks out there we can gather up. We can show you what judgment feel like. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 14. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you devour widows' houses, and for a pretense make long prayer.
Now, when you understand what he said about how wicked this is, woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you devour widows' houses. A widow is a woman whose husband has passed. She now has no protection. Do you understand how wicked it is that they are devouring widows' houses? They are going in places where those places are not protected, and they're devouring the house because they can. You need to understand, don't just pass by certain things because you don't understand just how wicked it is. Go ahead.
Therefore you shall receive the greater damnation.
You know, it's like what they do at some mechanic shops when they see the woman pull up. They licking their chop. So what happened? The car making a ticking sound. Oh, that's definitely an engine. You need an engine. Hell yeah, you definitely need an engine. Well, you definitely need. Oh, did it go tick tick? Tick tick tick. It went tick tick tick. Oh hell yeah, that's the engine right there. That's the engine right there. Ain't gonna cost you $5,000. See, but what happened? When that woman said, "Oh, my husband on the way up here." What? Yeah, he on the way up here. Oh, well, let me drive it again. Let me see. Oh, wait a minute now. Wait a minute. You said it needed an engine. See? See, I know sisters that used to just go to a Goodwill and get a big ugly shoe and sit it outside the house just so somebody be like, damn, look at the foot on that dude. Is a dude stay here? Ain't no dude stay in her house. But she got a big ugly shoe sitting out there. Hey, like, now, you know what? I don't even want to tangle with whoever the hell put that shoe on. Right. Go ahead.
Verse 15.
He like I'm gonna be thinking next time I see a big ugly shoe. There's some sisters on their way to Goodwill right after they leave here.
See, where your big ugly shoes at?
Go ahead.
Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you compass sea and land to make one proselyte, and when he is made, you make him twofold more the child of hell than yourself.
Check that out. You doing all of this to make a proselyte, and what you have made is a bigger problem than yourself. Because of how you deal with things, they're going to deal with things even less than how you deal with them. Go ahead.
Woe unto you, you blind guides, which say, whosoever shall swear by the temple, it is nothing. But whosoever shall swear by the gold of the temple, he's a debtor. You fools and blind. For whether is greater, the gold or the temple that sanctifies the gold? And whosoever shall swear by the altar, it is nothing. But whosoever swears by the gift that is upon it, he is guilty. You fools and blind. For whether is greater, the gift or the altar that sanctifies the gift? Whoso therefore shall swear by the altar swears by it and by all things thereon. And whoso shall swear by the temple swears by it and by him that dwells therein. And he that shall swear by heaven swears by the throne of Elohim and by him that sitteth thereon. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you pay tithe of mint and anise and cumin, and have omitted the weightier matters of the law.
You've done the part of the law for show. You pay tithe. See, especially when we was back at, them old Sunday gatherings, they separated the line. See, we did that. We get a lot more offerings. See, we have a tithing line and play a song. See, you get the tithing song. Oh, everybody want to go, and then let everybody walk around the church when they play the tithing song. You know what I'm saying? Everybody, yeah. Oh yeah. See that's where we come from. See, and that's what they did. They had a special song for the tithers, so they walk around the church. Then they had a lesser song for the regular people giving the offering.
They're like, here come these people now. They need to step their game up.
That automatically got into people's heads. Go ahead.
And have omitted the weightier matters of the law.
Omitted the weightier matters of the law. See? People wanted to be in that tithing line so bad that they wanted to show everybody that they was tithing, but they wasn't going to do any of the weightier matters of the law. They weren't going to go through any of those changes. They just wanted to do the things for show, so it looked like they are serving Yahweh, their Elohim. But they're not doing any of the other things. Go ahead.
Judgment, mercy, and faith. These ought you to have done, and not to leave the other undone.
But they should know that. They teach us. Go ahead.
You blind guides, which strain at a gnat and swallow a camel.
Right.
Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! For you may clean the outside of the cup and of the platter, but within they are full of extortion and excess.
Extortion and excess is what's really in it, but on the outside it look one way. Now, this Yahshua talking. And people keep talking about how much he does love and how he don't hurt nobody's feelings. I don't know what book y'all reading, because Yahshua hurt feelings from the beginning of his entering to his going out. He's still hurting feelings. So you need to take that make-believe God that you got on Sunday morning, and you need to figure out which one of them you're going to serve. Because those make-believe things don't fit what's written in this book. Go ahead.
You blind Pharisee, cleanse first that which is within the cup and platter, that the outside of them may be clean also.
So you find out that kind of stuff when you let your kids wash the dishes. And you look, boy, that dish look clean, man. And you grab it and you say, man, I'm finna drink out this cup. And you grab the cup and the cup almost slip out your hand. It's so oily. Did they wash this at all? Or you don't pay attention. You put some water in it and it still tastes like grape juice. Wait! Ain't nobody clean this cup. They rinsed this. Go ahead.
Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! For you are like unto whited sepulchres, which indeed appear beautiful outward, but are within full of dead men's bones and all uncleanness. Even so you also outwardly appear righteous unto men, but within you are full of hypocrisy and lawlessness.
Right. See, this is the power of the foolish virgins hanging around the wise virgins. That helps them look like they're not as foul as they really are. Go ahead.
Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, because you build the tombs of the prophets and garnish the sepulchres of the righteous.
Check that out. You build the tombs of the prophets and garnish the sepulchres of the righteous. Go ahead.
And say, if we had been in the days of our fathers, we would not have been partakers with them in the blood of the prophets.
Everybody believes they would have done better.
See, if I was there, I wouldn't have denied Yahshua at all. See, I would have fought to the death. Yes, I would have. Yeah, I would have kept it real.
Everybody say that until it happened. Everybody say, that's why Yahshua had to let some things happen, so we will see what manner of individual that we are. There were some things I had already said. Oh, yeah, this is my last time doing this right here. That God, you know, I ain't know Yahweh. God, you protect me in this one. I swear I'm out. I'm going to take all my winnings, and I'm out of this. Man, I had just got done, and I was already planning another one. Okay, now, if I take this, and I flip it, so much I didn't even see the police. Hey. Police standing in my face. I can't see them because I'm counting in my mind. I take that and then when I stretch that out, I'm gonna do it. But see, he had to prove to me that I wasn't gonna stop on my own. See, so he let me go. He said, let me go ahead and let him do it. Let me go ahead and let him. No. Y'all protect him. Don't let nothing happen to him until he get rid of everything he got. And then once he renegotiate, then y'all go ahead and let the pigs come in and lock him up. All right? But wait though. I need this to finish. See, because if it happened beforehand, you know, he still don't know what manner of man he is yet. See? No. Let him finish. Let him get rid of everything. And then when he's in the midst of renegotiating what he just said to me, make sure they then come in. I mean, the police must just been sitting around the corner. Is he done yet? Oh, no, don't go yet. Is he done? No, don't go yet. They weren't waiting on nobody else, just me. Right. Go ahead.
Matthew chapter 23 and verse 31. Wherefore you be witnesses unto yourselves, that you are the children of them which kill the prophets.
You are the children of them which killed the prophets. It's amazing. You see yourself one way. You believe that you're going to do this. You don't even know what's really in you. Go ahead.
Fill you up in the measure of your fathers, you serpents, you generation of vipers.
Right. Does that sound like love? Does that sound like he just doing love talk? Man, these are some very harsh words. And he's saying these words to people who could have him killed. This is not any old body he's talking to. As the word says, the wicked flee when no man pursueth, but the righteous are as bold as a lion. Do you understand who these people are that he's saying this to? But he ain't just talking out of his feelings now. See, that's what we get to do. We get to talking out our feelings to him. I'm bull as a lion. No, you about as dumb as a hyena, because what you doing here is talking mess that you can't prove. Everything he's saying here, he can prove. This ain't I think, I feel, I believe. Go ahead.
You serpents, you generation of vipers, how can you escape the damnation of hell? Wherefore, behold, I send unto you prophets and wise men and scribes, and some of them you shall kill.
Some of them you shall kill because they're not going to come and say things the way you want it to be said. Go ahead.
And some of them shall you scourge in your synagogues and persecute them from city to city.
Right. We'll persecute. See, we don't persecute people directly in the synagogue, directly in church. We'll wait till we go home later on and put our thumbs down or something like that. See, we won't do it while we're looking at them. Right. Hypocrites. Go ahead.
That upon you may come all the righteous blood shed upon the earth, from the blood of righteous Abel unto the blood of Zacharias, son of Barachias, whom you slew between the temple and the altar. Verily I say unto you, all these things shall come upon this generation. O Jerusalem, Jerusalem, you that killeth the prophets, and stone them which are sent unto you, how often would I have gathered your children together, even as a hen gathers her chickens under her wings, and you would not. Behold, your house is left unto you desolate. For I say unto you, you shall not see me henceforth, till you shall say, blessed is he that comes in the name of the Adonai.
All right, let's go to Revelation chapter 2. See, there's going to be some people that are going to be like completely thrown off at the appearance of Yahshua. You know, there's others that are going to be thrown off by the doctrine of Yahshua. So that there's some, you know, because it says, you know, hey, he has feet of fine brass. When they realize that Yahshua don't look like Joel Osteen, it's going to be a whole lot of people that going to faint right there, right off the rip. All right? We talking about men's heart failing them for fear. You know, right away, just heart attack, boom, boom, hit the ground. All right? So then, you know, other people going to be like, oh, my goodness, he really is black. Oh, my God. So at first, they're going to be happy. Then they're going to start hearing his doctrine. Oh, my goodness, we finna die too. Right. So you're going to have waves of death, okay? See, some of them just going to pass out when they realize what he looked like. See? Then the others, when they hear the real doctrine, oh, yeah, they falling out next. So it would behoove us to hear this doctrine before he get here, and when he speak it, knives coming out. It says the sword of his mouth. When he speak the word, the knife come out. And if you ain't got no armor, you're going to die when he talk. So if it's the first time you hear the word unadulterated when he get here, plan on death. You might want to go ahead and get them cuts now. Go ahead, bro.
Revelation chapter 2 and verse 1. Unto the angel of the church of Ephesus write, These things saith he that holds the 7 stars in his right hand, who walks in the midst of the 7 golden candlesticks. I know your works, and your labor, and your patience, and how you cannot bear them which are evil. And you have tried them which say they are apostles, and are not, and have found them liars.
Have found them liars. If they are not apostles, what are they? Go ahead.
And has borne, and has patience, and for my name's sake have labored, and have not fainted.
Right. Now, this sounds like a bunch of good stuff. They've done some good things. Go ahead.
Nevertheless, I have somewhat against you.
Nevertheless, see, all of those good things do not erase the things that you have not done correctly. Go ahead.
Because you have left your first love.
Because you have left your first love. See, this is us. After we do something for a while, it's no longer special. Then we push that to the back so we can work on our own personal stuff. You done left your first love. You done forgot that it was the doing of that that enabled you to do the other things. See, this is that thing where we lose focus. Where we supposed to be going to the mall to get 1 pair of socks. We in the mall for 4 hours, and we got bags upon bags. And when we get halfway home, we realize that we didn't get the socks. That was the one thing you went in there for. Oh, you renegotiated when you went in there. Look at this on sale. This is Black Friday. And they keep you coming back. They got Black Friday, Brown Monday, Blue Thursday. They get all kind of colors. They just keep coming back. Go ahead.
Verse 5. Remember therefore from whence you are fallen, and repent, and do the first works, or else I will come on to you quickly.
Do the first works. You know, the stuff that you agreed to do coming in the door after you got it in the water, those things that enabled you to even have the opportunity to do the other things. But see, we put that on the back burner so we can do our own personal thing. He said, you better go back and do these first works, or else I'm going to remove your candlestick out this place. Go ahead.
And I'll remove your candlestick out of his place, except you repent. But this you have, that you hated the deeds of the Nicolaitans, which I also hate.
Right. He didn't say they was all wrong. He said that there are some things that you are doing that are completely right. But because you have renegotiated your works, you better fix it, or I'm taking your candlestick out of this place. And don't think Yahweh gonna come here and tell you he removed your candlestick. What you gonna see is me say, hey, Lee. Go ahead.
You know, even with that, we've talked about, building down, but, tearing down, but still building up. Like he just turned around and said, hey, you got this in your favor. I like this about you.
Exactly.
So, and that's the thing is a lot of times we might fall, and what we dwell on is the bad part instead of, you know what, I still got this ability. I'm still alive. How about that? Let me get back on my job. He didn't kill me. Let me start doing something.
Biggest blessing right there. You got an opportunity to change. But if we stuck in our feelings, we learn one thing about dealing with a computer. It doesn't matter how great the hardware is. If the software got a bug in it, it's going to operate incorrectly. That's why they have constant updates, because they find, oh, there was another problem, there was another bug in that software. We had to fix that. We're gonna give you a firmware update. This is why we're not supposed to look over those opportunities to get back in the Word when we have gatherings to do things, because that way we get another firmware update. There's some of our computers we mad at because every time we turn, oh man, every time I turn this thing on, it update. Man. And Yahshua looking at you like, why the hell you won't update? I keep having, I'm setting up class after class. I keep trying to update you and you won't update. What's wrong with this thing? Right. Go ahead.
He that has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says unto the churches. To him that overcomes will I give to eat of the tree of life, which is in the midst of the paradise of Elohim. And unto the angel of the church in Smyrna write, these things says the first and the last, which was dead and is alive. I know your works and tribulation and poverty, but you are rich. And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Yehudis and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. Fear none of those things which you shall suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that you may be tried, and you shall have tribulation 10 days. Be you faithful unto death, and I'll give you a crown of life.
Consider that. Have you even thought about that? There's some people that have to suffer death. Do we even appreciate the plight that was given unto us? That you are able to go through some things, but your life is still given unto you. Consider the some of those people who have served 46 years in prison. I think that was the longest one, where this guy's done 46 years in prison to be exonerated later on. Hey man, he went in at 20. This an old man now has lived his entire adult life in prison for a crime that he did not do. Man, you can't get that time back. And what happened to his brain while he was in prison that long? How they gonna give you another brain? Go ahead.
He that has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says unto the churches. He that overcomes shall not be hurt of the second death.
Mm-hmm.
And to the angel of the church in Pergamos write, these things saith he which has the sharp sword with 2 edges. I know your works, and where you dwelleth, even where Satan's seat is. And you holdeth fast my name, and has not denied my faith, even in those days wherein Antipas was my faithful martyr, who was slain among you, where Satan dwells. But I have a few things against you.
I have a few things against you. Yes, everything that you're doing is not incorrect, but these things here need to be corrected. Go ahead.
But you have there them that hold the doctrine of Balaam, who taught Balak to cast a stumbling block before the children of Israel, to eat things sacrificed unto idols, and to commit fornication. So have you also them that hold the doctrine of the Nicolaitans, which thing I hate. Repent, or else I will come unto you quickly, and will fight against them with the sword of my mouth.
I will fight against them with the sword of my mouth. So if you think the word hurts now, wait till Yahshua get here. Go ahead.
He that has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says unto the churches. To him that overcomes will I give to eat of the hidden manna, and will give him a white stone, and in the stone a new name written, which no man knows saving he that receive it. And unto the angel of the church in Thyatira write, these things says the Son of Elohim, who has his eyes like unto a flame of fire, and his feet are like fine brass.
Fine brass is not the gold-looking brass. What we would call that is antique brass. So then we see that his feet are going to be deep brown. See, it's going to be a million passed out right there. When they see them brown feet, they passing out. Because see, now all them deeds is about to go through their head of what all they've done to people who had the same feet. Because that's what you see when you hang them people on the limbs. What's right there in front of them? The feet. He like, why are you sitting there talking about the man's feet? Because that's what they saw a lot, the feet. You hang them up in the tree, the feet end up right by their face. So they got a lot of look at feet. But he gonna let them look at these feet. Except they're gonna be in the air, but he not gonna be hanging from a tree. Go ahead.
I know your works and love and service and faith and your patience and your works, and the last to be more than the first. Notwithstanding, I have a few things against you, because you suffered that woman Jezebel, which calleth herself a prophetess, to teach and to seduce my servants to commit fornication, and to eat things sacrificed unto idols. And I gave her space to repent of her fornication, and she repented not.
No, because we think the space that we're given means that Yahweh must have agreed with us. And the space is space for repentance. We take that space
Say he must agree with me because ain't nothing happened yet.
Yeah, he just warming up. Go ahead.
Behold, I will cast her into a bed, and them that commit adultery with her into great tribulation, except they repent of their deeds. And I'll kill her children with death, and all the churches shall know that I am he which searches the reins and hearts, and I'll give unto every one of you according to your works. But unto you I say, and unto the rest in Thyatira, as many as have not this doctrine, and which have not known the depths of Satan, as they speak, I will put upon you none other burden, but that which you have already hold fast till I come. And he that overcomes and keeps my works unto the end, to him will I give power over the nations.
Right.
And he shall rule them with a rod of iron, as the vessels of a potter shall they be broken to shivers, even as I received of my Father. And I'll give him the morning star. He that has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says unto the churches.
All right, now let's go to Isaiah chapter 14. Isaiah chapter 14, and we're going to read verses 1 through 23.
Says chapter 14 and verse 1. For Yahweh will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land. And the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob.
Right, so then the redemption of the children of Israel is about Israel being placed in their own land. That whole heaven doctrine was never ours. That was somebody else's doctrine that they fed to us. See? That's some Valhalla. That's what that is. All you got to do is watch enough of them series and you find out, wait a minute. Then where they get heaven from? Oh, yeah, they set them on fire and then they float up to heaven. Wait a minute. This where they get this mess? We're dealing with somebody else, God. This wasn't our redemption. Man, they done placed their little make-believe thing in our minds. And now when we read it, we see the doctrine that they've given us, even though this word may say something else. See, I read this book, and that book just told us that the feet of Yahshua looked like burnt brass. And it said in more than one place, right? You know how long it took me to get that Festivus dude out my head? The little dude with the long hair and the blue eye? I closed my eyes, and that was Jesus. Come on, Sock. Sock. I like, hey, man, get out of there. I had to start praying with my eyes open, bro. Because every time I close my eyes, here come Festivus. Man, I know you ain't real. But that was the image that was fed to me for so long. Every time I close my eyes, here come Festivus. I had to get him out of there. Go ahead.
And the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of Yahweh for servants and handmaids. And they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors.
And all you got to do is ask a so-called Jew, which people are y'all going to possess as captives? You know, I guess that would be whoever y'all was in captivity to. It's going to be a strange conversation after that. Get ready for the strangeness, okay? Go ahead.
And it shall come to pass in the day that Yahweh shall give you rest from your sorrow, and from your fear, and from the hard bondage wherein you was made to serve, that you shall take up this proverb against the king of Babylon, and say, how has the oppressor ceased? The golden city ceased. Yahweh has broken the staff of the wicked, and the scepter of the rulers. He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke, he that ruled the nations in anger, is persecuted and none hinders. The whole earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth into singing.
Right. As it says, when you remove a wicked man, the people rejoice. As long as Lucifer has the power to go and set up and do all of the things that he wants to do, there's going to be a problem amongst the people. Go ahead.
Yea, the fir trees rejoice at you, and the cedars of Lebanon, saying, since you are laid down, no fellers come up against us. Hell from beneath is moved for you to meet you at your coming. It stirs up the dead for you, even all the chief ones of the earth. It has raised up from their thrones all the kings of the nations. All they shall speak and say unto you, are you also become weak as we? Are you become like unto us? Your pomp is brought down to the grave, and the noise of your vials. The worm is spread under you, and the worms cover you. How are you fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How are you cut down to the ground, which did weaken the nations? For you have said in your heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of Elohim.
First of all, you have to ask yourself, first of all, why does he need to ascend into heaven? See, you look at a change in position where Yahweh has given him a job, but he wants to do another job. Go ahead.
I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I'll be like the Most High.
I will be like the Most High. So you have to look at what his job first was, then you have to look at Yahweh rearranging that job based on how he did his job and what starts to go through his heart and mind. Go ahead.
You shall be brought down to the grave, to the sides of the pit. They that see you shall narrowly look upon you and consider you, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms, that made the world as a wilderness, and destroyed the cities thereof, that opened not the house of his prisoners? All the kings of the nations, even all of them, lie in glory, every one in his own house. But you're cast out of your grave like an abominable branch, and as the raiment of those that are slain, thrust through with a sword, that go down to the stones of the pit, as a carcass trodden under feet. You shall not be joined with them in burial, because you have destroyed your land and slain your people. The seed of evildoers shall never be renowned. Prepare slaughter for his children for the lawlessness of their fathers, that they do not rise nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities. For I will rise up against them, says Yahweh of hosts, and cut off from Babylon the name and remnant and son and nephew, says Yahweh. I will also make it a possession for the bittern and pools of water, and I'll sweep it with the besom of destruction, says Yahweh of hosts.
All right, let's go to Ezekiel chapter 28. So we see that the adversary had to fall from his position because there is a change in how that work was being done. When you talk about being created, Yahweh created these angels to serve him. At some point, Lucifer begins to serve himself of Yahweh. He's no longer serving Yahweh. He has his own agenda. And in the process of even taking care of his own agenda, he's then pulling resources out of Yahweh's house to serve his own agenda. Ezekiel 28, let's read verses 11 through 19.
Moreover, the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, take up a lamentation upon the king of Tyrus, and say unto him, Thus says the Adonai Yah, You sealeth up the sum, full of wisdom and perfect in beauty. You have been in Eden, the garden of Elohim.
He has been in Eden, the garden of Elohim. But then you have to ask yourself, why was he even in the garden of Eden? What job was he supposed to do in that garden? And how did he renegotiate that job to fit his own likes and dislikes? Go ahead.
Every precious stone was your covering, the sardius, topaz, and the diamond, the beryl, the onyx, and the jasper, the sapphire, the emerald, and the carbuncle, and gold. The workmanship of your tabrets and of your pipes was prepared in you in the day that you was created.
Not the day you were born, the day you were created. So then you have to look at all of the things that Yahweh has to endure, and how are we going to cry foul when we have to endure those? Yahweh created these entities to watch them. I created them, taught them, gave them powers and gifts, only to watch them turn against him. He's watching as this entity tries to carve out his own little piece of heaven outside of Yahweh's heaven. Go ahead.
You art the anointed cherub that covers, and I have set you so.
You are the anointed cherub that covers. I have anointed and appointed you so. I gave you that position. I gave you that power. Go ahead.
You was upon the holy mountain of Elohim. You have walked up and down in the midst of the stones of fire. You was perfect in your ways from the day that you was created till lawlessness was found in you.
Stop. You were perfect until lawlessness was found. This is that point where we give too much loyalty to some things as we start counting people's past and how long they have done something. You have to consider something. When we deal with the entire scope of time here that we cannot even put together with our fleshly mind, you have to wonder, how long was Lucifer right before he went wrong? See, we like to look at this situation as he was always wrong. What did it say? You were perfect. So how many millions of years was he perfect? And then he renegotiated something. That's all it takes. It's a renegotiation. I now see this part differently. That's all it takes. See, I remember working for a company and trying to be loyal. This company was bought out. So the name stayed the same. The uniform stayed the same. The vehicle stayed the same. But the internal part of that company changed. The spirit of that company changed. I tried to stay there. I noticed my white friends and co-workers, they got the hell out of Dodge. They got out quick. But me, I'm going to be loyal. Okay, what ended up happening? I started getting burnt out. I started disliking all of the stuff that was going on in this thing because I'm still trying to show loyalty to this company, but this company internally, spirit-wise, is not the same company. So I'm showing loyalty, so I think. Then I get so burnt out that I no longer don't want to be at that company. I don't even want to do that job. I stopped doing that job for 3 years. The problem wasn't what I was doing. It was where I was doing it at. And the people who were able to recognize that the spirit had changed, they got up and left. They never got burnt out. They didn't go through the down and then the back up that I went through trying to show loyalty to something whose spirit had changed. So you pay attention to what's in front of you. When the spirit of it changes, don't try to give it loyalty as though it is this thing. It is now a different entity. Deal with it as such. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 16. By the multitude of your merchandise they have filled the midst of you with violence, and you have sinned. Therefore I'll cast you as profane out of the mountain of Elohim, and I'll destroy you, O covering cherub, from the midst of the stones of fire.
You have to consider the power of a covering cherub. This means Lucifer was one of the closest people to Yahweh. So this betrayal is not just a little bit of betrayal. He has renegotiated the work that he's supposed to do. Go ahead.
Your heart was lifted up because of your beauty.
And we think the adversary, the devil, they keep painting us something with a pitchfork and a tail, and it says it's just ugly. It says your heart was lifted up because of your beauty. And what kind of beauty is it even talking about? Would we earthly be able to even perceive that kind of beauty? See, we wouldn't even know if we saw it if that was that kind of beautiful. We're talking about a beautiful that's outside of what we know is beautiful. See, we know beautiful by what they put on BET. Because, see, they told us this is what beauty looked like. That's why some people can't deal with what they have and recognize it as beautiful because it don't look like TV beautiful. Go ahead.
You have corrupted your wisdom by reason of your brightness. I'll cast you to the ground. I will lay you before kings, that they may behold you. You have defiled your sanctuaries by the multitude of your lawlessness, by the lawlessness of your traffic. Therefore will I bring forth a fire from the midst of you. It will devour you, and I'll bring you to ashes upon the earth in the sight of all them that behold you. All they that know you among the people shall be astonished at you. You shall be a terror, and never shall you be anymore.
And never shall you be anymore. A covering cherub covers this seat that he is sitting on. But you have to look at these things. Let's go to Genesis chapter 3.
You know, my brother, in verse 17, it says, you have corrupted your wisdom. You did it to yourself.
Right. But see, what thing was in his mind that he was attempting to do? It says, I'm going to be just like the Most High. See, there's some that love you so much that they got to kill you. Because, I mean, if they want to be you, eventually it comes down to that point where, you know what, the only way for me to like really be you is you got to die. I have done all I can do to be like you. Final step, you got to die. Well, they just started playing this thing again about Selena, the Latin superstar. What happened? The president of her fan club killed her. Loved her so much, loved her to death. Eventually, you got to die. You got to go. Because I can't be you if you are here. What does Lucifer have to do? I won't be just like the Most High. I'm going to sit here. I'm going to sit there. I'm going to do this. You know what? I just found out something, Yahweh. I got to kill you. Good luck on that, Lou. Good luck on that, Lou. Genesis chapter 3, and let's read verses 22 through 24.
Yahweh Elohim said, Behold, the man is become as one of us to know good and evil. And now, lest he put forth his hand and take also of the tree of life and eat and live forever. Therefore Yahweh Elohim sent him forth from the Garden of Eden to till the ground from whence he was taken.
So, the adversary, the devil, has now got into this situation, has caused deception in this situation, and has now gotten the man separated from Yahweh. Slickness. Go ahead.
So he drove out the man, and he placed at the east of the Garden of Eden cherubims.
Your cherubs? Wait a minute. That's what Lucifer is. So now, what guards and keeps the man from being able to live forever is one of the same things that tricked the man into deceiving Yahweh in the first place. Go ahead.
And a flaming sword which turned every way to keep the way of the tree of life.
Right. Now let's go to Exodus chapter 25. Exodus chapter 25. And let's read verses 17 through 22.
And you shall make a mercy seat of pure gold. 2 cubits and a half shall be the length thereof, and a cubit and a half the breadth thereof. And you shall make 2 cherubims of gold, of beaten work shall you make them, in the 2 ends of the mercy seat. And make 1 cherub on the one end, and the other cherub on the other end.
Understand that all angels are not made the same. All angels don't have the same thing. So when we see something that has wings, you have to understand the adversary, the devil, is said to be a cherub. So he does have wings. So then everything that we have seen that they keep giving unto us is a winged angel. Why? Because they worship the devil. Go ahead, bro.
Even of the mercy seat shall you make the cherubims on the 2 ends thereof. And the cherubims shall stretch forth their wings on high, covering the mercy seat with their wings, and their faces shall look one to another. Toward the mercy seat shall the faces of the cherubims be.
Right. Sometimes people look at the seat too long, they won't sit in it. They constantly looking at the seat. That means they got to keep looking at him. Oh, he said, my seat I'm gonna be just like the Most High. Well, if he want to be just like the Most High, he not gonna be covering the seat. He gonna be in it. Go ahead.
And you shall put the mercy seat above upon the ark, and in the ark you shall put the testimony that I shall give you. And there I will meet with you, and I'll commune with you from above the mercy seat, from between the 2 cherubims which are upon the ark of the testimony, of all things which I will give you in commandment unto the children of Israel.
Right. So then we see the power of these cherubims, what this cherub was supposed to do, and then we see the renegotiation of that labor, that now this servant of Yahweh has now began to serve himself of Yahweh. Let's go to Revelation chapter 12. Because see, we say it couldn't possibly happen unto us. It happened to one of the greatest entities known. What makes us so great that it couldn't happen to us? Revelation chapter 12, and we're going to read verses 7 through 13.
And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels.
So now we at a point where there's no more deception, there's no more trickery, there's no more renegotiation of work. At this point, it's just time to fight. We done talked all we can talk. We done all that. It's time to fight at this point, because I want to sit in that seat and you want to maintain that seat, so we just got to fight for it. Go ahead.
And prevail not, neither was their place found any more in heaven.
Now check this out. Verse 7 says, and there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels, now they on Yahweh's side, fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels. So the adversary, the devil, has created him his own clique inside of Yahweh's house, and has convinced them to leave Yahweh and fight on his side. This is what my elder used to say, the danger of cliques. Because you have to ask yourself, how did those angels get convinced to fight against Yahweh? How are they convinced and to go against Yahweh and join with the adversary? Go ahead.
And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceives the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. And I heard a loud voice
His
saying,
angels was cast out with him. That's what my elder used to say. Let it go long enough so you can see all the people that are sympathetic to it and then throw them all out at the same time. Because you ask yourself, people always say, why don't God just get it over with and throw the devil out? Why don't he just get rid of him? And then the whole thing will be over. No. Him and his angels was cast out. So what did Yahweh do? He waited long enough so he can see all the other angels who felt sympathetic to it so he can get rid of all of them. That way your purge is done once and effective. You ain't got a whole bunch of little purges. Now let's get one big one. Let's get one big flush. So you find out when you go use that quick trip bathroom, now that's a flush. And you're like, man, now that's a flush. Go ahead, brother.
and I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now has come salvation and strength and the kingdom of our El, and the power of his anointed one. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our Elohim day and night.
The accuser is cast down. He does nothing but accusations, constantly accusing. Now, we're talking about the biggest deceiver, but all he does is make accusations. Isn't that interesting? Go ahead.
And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony, and they loved not their lives unto the death. Therefore rejoice, you heavens, and you that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great anger, because he knows that he has but a short time. And when the dragon saw that he was cast onto the earth, he persecuted the woman which brought forth the man-child.
Right. So now, the adversary, the devil, is angry with Yahweh, so he playing chess. What you do? You go and fight against the queen. Said, look, he done got ejected from heaven. He cannot fight directly against Yahweh, so he goes against the woman. Lucifer don't care how he get at Yahweh. And his attack to get at Yahweh is going to be coming at you. Are we even trying to spiritually prepare for something like that? We're talking about the most powerful entity that we have ever known of to be on the other side. We're talking about something so powerful that there has to be a war of angels to remove him from his place. That's what's on its way to us. But let us hear the conclusion of this matter. Let's go to 2 Corinthians chapter 12. Second Corinthians chapter 12, and we're going to read verses 1 through 10.
It is not expedient for me, doubtless, to glory. I will come to visions and revelations of the Adonai. I knew a man in the Anointed One above 14 years ago. Whether in the body, I cannot tell, or whether out of the body, I cannot tell. Elohim knows. Such an one caught up to the third heaven. And I knew such a man, whether in the body or out of the body, I cannot tell. Elohim knows. How that he was caught up into paradise, and heard unspeakable words, which is not lawful for a man to utter. Of such an one will I glory, yet of myself I will not glory, but in mine infirmities. For though I would desire to glory, I shall not be a fool, for I will say the truth. But now I forbear, lest any man should think of me above that which he sees me to be, or that he hears of me.
For though I would desire to glory, I shall not be a fool, for I will say the truth. But now I forbear, lest any man should think of me above that which he sees me to be. Go ahead.
And lest I should be exalted above measure through the abundance of the revelations. There was given to me a thorn in the flesh.
Okay, so this thorn in the flesh was given unto him to keep him humble because of all the other things that he has been able to do. So then consider that. Go ahead.
The messenger of Satan to buffet me, lest I should be exalted above measure.
Least I should be exalted above measure. So what happens if you don't have that thorn in the flesh to keep you humble? Do you then begin to magnify yourself against Yahweh, your Elohim, even he who has placed you there? See, it looks like that thorn in the flesh may be more powerful than one might think. Might be more needful than you might think. You might be praying to get rid of the very thing that's actually there to keep you humble. Go ahead.
For this thing I besought the Adonai 3 times, that it might depart from me.
He has prayed about this thing 3 times, and you're talking about somebody who has so much power now that people have been healed just by touching the clothing that he has had on. Yet he cannot take this thing away. Because this thing has a purpose. This thing is there for a reason. See, you're trying to get rid of your thorn, and your thorn is helping to keep you so you don't end up like Lucifer. So you don't renegotiate the job that was given unto you. See? See, some of us need to paint a little face on the thorn and wrap it in the blanket and just carry.
What's that? That's my thorn. Yeah. This gonna keep me happy. Hey, how you doing, little thorn? Yeah, that's right. It's gonna keep me humble. It's gonna keep me from turning out like Lucifer,
who magnified himself and forgot his job. Go ahead.
And he said unto me, my grace is sufficient for you, for my strength is made perfect in weakness.
My strength is made perfect in weakness, because when you can actually deal with the fact that you are weak, that you will then count on my strength and humble yourself. But whenever you think you can do it by yourself, you don't need me, you don't need nobody, you on your way to falling. Go ahead.
Most gladly, therefore, will I rather glory in mine infirmities, that the power of the Mashiach may rest upon me. Therefore, I take pleasure in infirmities, in reproaches.
I take pleasure in infirmities. What we do is hide them.
Ain't nothing wrong. I don't know what you're talking about. Ain't nothing wrong with no infirmity. No. Oh, no. I'm perfect bill of health.
Right. See, I take pleasure in these. See, these are things that's going to keep me from turning into something else. These are things that's going to keep me from magnifying myself against the very house that made me. These are the things that's going to keep me grounded and rooted in the Word. I don't hide that. I glory in that. Read, brother.
In necessities, in persecutions, in distresses for the Mashiach's sake. For when I am weak, then am I strong.
When I am weak, then am I strong, because the strength that I then get to pull from is not my own strength. That's how I become strong in weakness, because I get his strength. As long as you're dealing with yours, I guarantee you still dealing in weakness. But when you get to pull from the power of Yahweh, your Elohim, then are you dealing with real strength. That's all we're going to do for today. Remember the Sabbath to keep it holy. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.